so a function has exactly one output for every input. Is that what you were thinking? So if I take a look, oh, give me some time to write. You need me to zoom in? Okay, so if I take a look at this, my inputs are x and my outputs are y. So if I take a look at this, are any of my x values repeated? Which one? No, so I have completely different x values, so every x value has one y value. Questions on that one? Okay, number 2, if I take a look at it, are any of my x values repeated? Which one? 4 is repeated. So if I take a look, there's 4 here and 4 here. So this one is not, oh, I forgot to say this one is. This one is not a function because 4 has 2 outputs. Does that make sense? Okay, what about number 3? This is called a mapping diagram. So if I read it, it says -1 has an output of 4, 3 has an output of 15, and 11 has an output of 15 as well. Is that okay? No, it's okay. Because all of my x's have one output. It doesn't matter that the outputs are the same. So this one is a function. Okay, so what about number 4? You have to see it. No, why not? 0 has 2 outputs. So are there any questions on telling whether a relation is a function? So the next thing we're going to learn about is called the vertical line test. Have you guys heard of this before? Okay, so what it is I'm going to use a ruler, you can use your IDs. What I do is I take this and I move it along a graph, and if it touches the same, like if the same x value has 2 y values, so like you see right here how I have 2 dots, this means it's not a function. this happens now. It's going to fail the vertical line test. And then in the future, it might be abbreviated as VLT, like on a test or something. So just know VLT means vertical line test. Okay, so I do the same thing on number 6. I take my ruler and I drag it across. As I drag it across, it only touches the line once. So this means it is a function. It passes the vertical line test. Are there any questions on the vertical line test? Okay. The last thing we're going to talk about is independent and dependent variables. So our input is our independent variable, and our output is our dependent variable. So what this means is our output relies on our input. So whatever we plug in, our output is determined based on that. Okay, so if I read number 7, it says the function y equals negative 3x plus 12 represents the amount y in fluid ounces of juice remaining in a bottle after you take x gulps. Identify the independent and dependent variables. So another way to think of it is independent is what has to happen first. So what has to, wow, I can't spell independent. What's my independent variable here? What has to happen first? Do I have the amount of juice left, or do I take the drink first? What happens first? The amount I drink. So my independent variable is the number of gulps. So then my dependent variable has to be what? Huh? What's left? Questions on finding independent and dependent variables? Any questions?